So our season's winding down in Kentucky. This is the last weekend. Unfortunately, I'm down on my back, so it doesn't look like it's going to happen for me. But this is kind of the time of the year that I kind of reflect on how the season went. And for me, a lot of that has to do with equipment. You know, I'm a tinkerer by nature with archery equipment. And one of the things that I've been concentrating on the last few years is fixed blade broadheads. I have feelings about mechanicals. I think a lot of that is due to what you see on TV. I'm seeing more and more, and I'm sure everybody notices this, guys shooting deer, getting no pass-throughs, 15, 18 inches of arrow sticking out of the deer, that didn't get in. I think one of the most important things that you can do with your archery equipment is set it up to get a pass-through on a whitetail, because too many times you're not going to get that backyard angle that you're looking for. So this past season I shot an Easton Axis 340, which is a little heavy spine for what I'm doing. I'm shooting a 100 grain trocar fixed blade with feathers, 3 feathers on the back. So I'm getting a pretty good forward of center FOC. With the feathers are light. It's not extreme forward of center, but it's a very stiff arrow for my 65-pound setup that I'm shooting. And let me rephrase that. I have never not shot through a deer with this setup. But since I've went to it, I have been taking pretty broadside shots and haven't really got into big bone, but I've been shooting through them, and that's what I'm looking for. Now, this coming year, or this coming season, I'm taking this to the extreme. I have got 300 Axis arrows, which are 10.1, I believe, grains per inch each, versus the 340s, which are 9.5. So a little bit heavier, a lot stiffer. And to get that arrow to shoot correctly, I've gone to like 75 grain brass insert. You can get these hit inserts in brass. You can get 50 or 75. The standard is 16 grains. So get rid of this phone call. So I went to the 75 grain insert, and I'm going to bump up my point weight from 100 grains to probably 125 grains. So, and I believe it's probably, I think I'm going to shoot a Muzzy Phantom. I'm not sure this coming year, but I definitely want the cut on contact, especially going out west. I don't have a super heavy poundage, and I'm a short draw, so I need maximum kinetic energy. And this is kind of a trick that I'm taking from the traditional archers, and it just hasn't caught on yet with the compound guys. Extreme FOC, extreme forward of center arrows. So, I've got 250 grains up front. I may have more than that depending on what I'm going to shoot. Heavy arrow. The arrow's going to be long, which is going to soften the extra FOC, the extra weight up front, and the length of the arrow is going to soften that arrow to allow it to shoot correctly out of my bow. But I get a much heavier arrow. All that forward of center is going to help drive that arrow in, and it's actually going to allow it to shoot better because I'm going to have feathers on the back. It's going to be light. It's not going to take much correction at all to get that back to stabilize, because all the weight is going to be up front. Traditional archers have been doing this for years with carbon arrows. It just hasn't caught on to compounds. But I'm looking to do that this year. So, it's going to be I'm going to be lobbing an arrow, basically. It's not going to be a fast dart that all these guys are looking for. But at my yardages, the drop is going to be minimal. So, I'm pretty excited about that. And I guarantee I get through every animal I shoot. And that's the most important part with me. I wish guys that are especially the new archers coming in, they're so accustomed to seeing what's heavily advertised, and that's the mechanicals that everybody knows of. and it's the bigger carbon arrows with the regular insert. You know, these are the hit insert Eastons. These are the 5mm. So it's a smaller diameter, a heavier arrow than your standard large diameter carbon. That makes a tremendous difference. So, you know, there's a little tip I can give you. If you're having problems getting penetration on an animal, if you're not shooting through regular white-sized deer with your setup, you know, you need to look at what you got. And I would definitely look at fixed blade broadheads. Definitely look at, you know, shooting an actual cut on contact. But don't be afraid to go super heavy point weight in a stiffer spine. I think you're going to be surprised by what you see. So, going to do some tinkering this summer, and I'll definitely bring you along and film it when I do, because there's a little bit of trick to getting the shoot right with your compound. You got to do some tuning. You know, you can't just slap an arrow on there and go shoot. And that's, you know, I could go on forever about all this, but I just think the art of tuning compounds has gone out the window. Guys are throwing on mechanicals, and you know, they're seeing all these people on TV do it, and that's just naturally what you gravitate towards, and that's what's advertised the most. So that's what I'm going to be doing this summer. So it's a never-ending process starting now.